I used to think betrayal would feel dramatic, like in movies. A slammed door, a screaming match, a wine glass shattered against the wall. But the truth, it happened quietly, on an ordinary Tuesday night while I sat cross-legged on our couch, searching for a photo of our dog on my boyfriend's iPad. That's how my future fell apart. Babe, can you send me the pictures from Chloe's birthday? I called toward the kitchen. Yeah, just use my iPad. Ethan answered. Password's your birthday. I smiled automatically. 3 years together, and he still used my birthday for everything. I remember thinking that meant something. God, I was stupid. The iPad unlocked to dozens of tabs, unread emails, and his messages app open in the corner. I ignored it at first, scrolling through photos of cake, balloons, and our golden retriever wearing a ridiculous party hat. Then a message notification slid across the screen. Maya, sometimes I still miss your voice. I froze. Maya, his ex. The ex he swore he barely talked to anymore. The ex he called ancient history. My stomach tightened, but I told myself not to overreact. People can be friendly with exes. Healthy adults do that all the time. Still, my thumb moved before my conscience could stop it. I tapped the message and destroyed my own life. The thread stretched back months. Not casual check-ins, not harmless nostalgia. Paragraphs, late-night conversations, inside jokes, photos. My chest tightened harder with every scroll. Then I found the messages that made my hands go numb. Ethan, sometimes I think I should have married you when I had the chance. Another one. Ethan, things are good with Claire, but it's different with you. You know me in a way nobody else does. And finally, Maya, do you still love me? His reply came 2 minutes later. Ethan, I never really stopped. I stared at the screen, so long it blurred. My ears rang. Somewhere in the kitchen, water ran into the sink, while Ethan hummed under his breath, like nothing in the world had changed. Meanwhile, mine had split clean in half. I don't remember standing up. I only remember him turning around when I walked into the kitchen, and smiling. Actually smiling. Did you find the... I held up the iPad. His face drained instantly. That tiny flicker of panic told me everything before he even spoke. Claire. I hated how softly he said my name, like I was the fragile thing here. How long? I asked. He swallowed. It's not what you think. That sentence should be illegal. It says you never stopped loving her. It's complicated. No, I snapped. Complicated is picking a wedding venue. This is lying. We weren't. Nothing happened physically. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because I genuinely thought I might lose my mind if I didn't. You told another woman you loved her while we were apartment shopping. His eyes darted away. Guilt. Real guilt. Not the kind people perform when they get caught. The kind that comes from knowing they crossed a line long before tonight. I didn't mean for this to happen, he whispered. That sentence hurt worst of all, because it meant this had happened. Slowly, repeatedly, intentionally. 2 weeks earlier, we toured a townhouse with a tiny backyard. Ethan had wrapped his arms around me in the kitchen and said, I can see our kids growing up here. I believed him. I had Pinterest boards filled with wedding ideas. Baby names saved in my notes app. I knew exactly what kind of ring he liked because we'd looked together, and all that time, part of him was somewhere else. With her. Do you want to be with Maya? I asked finally. He looked stunned. I love you. That's not what I asked. Silence. The answer sat between us anyway, and somehow that silence hurt more than if he'd screamed it. I packed a bag that night. Not dramatically, not angrily. I folded sweaters with shaking hands while Ethan followed me around the apartment saying things like, we can fix this. It didn't mean anything. You're overreacting. Funny how cheaters cycle through every excuse until one works. But the worst part, a small piece of me still wanted him to stop me, to say something that would make this salvageable. 3 years don't disappear instantly. You mourn them while they're still happening. At the door, he finally said the truth, quietly, almost too quietly to hear. I didn't think you'd ever find out. And there it was. Not remorse for hurting me. Remorse for being caught. I nodded slowly, feeling something inside me harden for the first time all night. Exactly. Then I left. The months after were ugly. People glamorize moving on like it's empowering all the time. It isn't. Sometimes it's crying in grocery store parking lots because you passed your ex's favorite cereal. Sometimes it's changing your entire routine to avoid driving by the coffee shop you used to share. Sometimes it's wondering why you weren't enough. That question nearly destroyed me until my therapist said something I'll never forget. His inability to commit honestly is not a reflection of your worth. I wrote that sentence down. Read it every day. Eventually, I started believing it. 6 months later, Ethan texted me. I made a mistake. Classic. Apparently things with Maya weren't what he imagined. Apparently he missed me. Apparently he wanted another chance. I stared at the message while sitting in my new apartment, the one I chose entirely by myself. Then I looked around, at the peace, at the quiet, at the version of me that no longer checked phones or questioned her value. And for the first time since everything happened, I smiled. Not because it didn't hurt anymore, but because I finally understood something. I hadn't lost my future. I'd lost a man who was willing to risk it. There's a difference. So I blocked his number, poured myself a glass of wine, and went back to planning a future again. This time, without someone secretly looking backward while pretending pretending to build forward with me.